Hey guys, just here to introduce the latest interview that I had with Blood Brews. We have a very fun discussion about Scream 6. Um, Not unlike my last conversation with Albert, the audio's a little messed up for some reason. The Seems like we're talking on top of each other. It's not how it was when we recorded it. So I apologize, but if you can get through the kind of jumbledness of the conversation, I think you are in for a treat. We have a lot of uh, fun talking about Scream 6 and all the different things that happen in that film. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoy the conversation about Scream 6 with Blood and Brews.
And then
Hey,
just kicking it.
we got it. How's it going, gang?
Exactly.
Kicking
Sorry
it. It
for the
sounded like you guys
lateness.
were running the way back home. No, no. I just attributed it to
I
there being
completely
probably
forgot all
like
about
15
the
to
amount
20
of
movie
trailers,
you had
but
to
they
get through.
actually saved us because this guy, oh man, he had to take a shit before we went.
Sorry, guys. My kid just walked in. Do you want to say hi really quick?
Hello.
Say hi really quick. Say hi, boys.
Hi.
It's adorable.
Hi. All right. Hey, you gotta go.
No.
Yeah, you got to.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, you have to.
No.
You're gonna talk about Scream?
No.
You're gonna talk about Ghostface? Are you kidding me? Spider-Man?
I need to put it on.
Okay, we'll put it on really quick. Sorry. Where's your mom? I thought she was watching you. All right. There it is. Now you're the Spider-Man, and you're good to go.
I can totally hear you.
All right. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, no worries.
No.
I'll be right back, guys.
No.
Hey, Daddy's working.
I need one more cup. I need one more cup.
Hey, come on, baby.
Just open the sound.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
No worries.
Oi! Sorry, gentlemen. Oi. Yeah.
How's the sound on your
Hey,
end?
there it is. That's good. That's good. It's a good switch right there. Well, before we get started talking about Scream, what are you boys drinking over there?
Stoked Henhouse Brewing.
Stoked hazy pale ale.
I actually like it. It's not too strong. It's like a 5 point
Any good?
or 5% beer.
It's pretty crisp and smooth. Kind of like hydrated.
Oh, nice. I like that. Get it. So, was this the? We'll just fucking kick it off. We're talking about Scream 6.
My second time, his first time, and he's the non really like horror fan that I'm trying to push into liking horror. So my thing is, I think he should give his opinion before I give mine, because I think we'll have two different opinions. So go ahead.
I wish there was more gore, but it was like it was good. Like it was thrilling and then like pretty action packed. I was just, as soon as I found out who the killers were, I was like, That's all I really needed.
Did you feel like, what do you mean by that?
I was like a little disappointed.
Yeah,
like it was like cool, but then I was like, it was a little bit much for who the killers were.
It did feel like the storyline kind of took a weird, yeah. And I think for me personally, I was hoping for them to bring back someone from back when to be the killer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of throw this out there. If you are watching this video right now, we are going to do an in-depth discussion of Scream 6. So if you have not seen the movie, probably just don't.
Are we doing
watch right
spoilers?
now?
Are we talking
you don't
spoilers?
care about having the film spoiled.
Okay.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, man. We're gonna talk about everything. So yeah, where do you guys want to start?
We literally just
top
walked out of the movie, like so we still have had it like ingrained in us, like, you know, that movie theater feeling when you come out. It's just still kind of like all setting in again, even though it was my second time. There were some things that bothered me about this film that kind of me and you agreed on 5 that bothered you and I, because how is certain things happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we can just, you know, cover that right now. My biggest gripe with Scream 5 is the fact that fucking we'll just, you know, give her the benefit of the doubt and say an 18-year-old high school girl that's probably like $120 soaking wet somehow managed to not just kill, but like hold her own in a fight against a veteran cop who probably has
a grown-ass Dewey,
at least 100 pounds on her.
Agree.
Yeah. I'm always willing to suspend my disbelief with these films, and like Ghostface is like almost an entity unto himself, you know, when our killers are in the Ghostface getup, that is almost a separate being, more or less. Ghostface is clumsy and aggressive and maybe much more intimidating, obviously, with the costume on, but then you have the voice and everything. There's a whole other presence, I would argue, for Ghostface. That being said, you do still have to try and apply some law of physics to these things, and even if you watch the film, there's no fucking way that the ghost face in the hospital scene is Amber, because she's like at least a foot shorter, you know. So that's probably
smaller
like
than Dewey.
Biggest gripe with that.
So there's
one,
no
but,
fucking way.
Yeah,
but that's how I felt about this one.
It was like Ghostface was like 6'4" the whole movie until the like where they're in the.
Then they made them stand next to each other to be like, see, it makes sense. But no, because that little redheaded girl took out that brother in Gail Weathers' apartment like it was no big deal. It shows her tackling him. Like, what? She was the only one that would have been able to do that because the kid was in the back of the van and the dad was with them at the park. So hit me with that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and when you think of it like that, now, see, I've only seen it the one time, so I haven't really been able to put 2 and 2 together as far as who was doing the killing when and everything. That I do take issue with that, but I don't take as much issue with it because we're not talking about like maybe I think the the big issue with it is because it was Dewey, because it's this monumental scene and this big thing. I think that one stands out a little bit more to me personally. That being said, I do think that certain things should be definitely being kept in the back of the filmmaker's mind when they're deciding who's going to be doing the killing, you know? Albert, upon a second watch, did you find yourself nitpicking more? Did you still enjoy the film overall?
I thought it kept a super good pace through it. And as a horror film lover, I actually really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it the second time through. But there was things like that, and like the beginning scene, there was something that stuck out, and I was wondering if you caught it. Because I caught it on the first watch, and I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. And then on second watch, in that first kill scene in the beginning of the movie, where he like stabs the girl from Ready or Not, and then slashes at her, right? Then they show her body, and I'm like, well, where did he hit her? She didn't have any like slash across her face, or the angle that they were at. She would have had to have had something. So that kind of like was something, I don't know why it stuck out in my mind. Yeah. But like the reality factor of it was like, where did that last blow land?
You know, and that could be something that was like ended up on the cutting room floor. Like, you know, maybe they did, you know, shoot that and have her all bloodied up. And maybe they were like, well, maybe we don't like this. And so we'll just show her looking this way. You never know particularly when it comes to editing, what, you know, does get cut out. But yeah, stuff like that. As someone who is very meticulous with their editing, stuff like that does tend to stand out to me as well. My biggest gripe with this film, and I'll just say this because I feel like this is something that is going to come up one way or another, so we might as well just get out of the way now. My biggest gripe with Scream 6, I like the movie a lot, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. I really, really enjoyed Scream 6. One of the better
it's a fun theater movie. It's a fun movie, and it keeps you engaged. It's like it doesn't have any super low points that leave you like bored. I think.
No, yeah, that was one of the points that I made in my review. As far as like from a rewatchability standpoint, you're never bored in this movie. It just goes boom, 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 boom. It's constantly going. I think it's a ton of fun. But my big gripe with this film is that none of our main characters die in this movie. And I think that is a colossal mistake for this film, because you've just kind of like taken the stakes out of everything. It kind of feels borderline Marvel in that way, where you're like, all right, cool. Well, apparently motherfuckers can get stabbed like 20 times and they're going to be fine, you know? Yeah,
definitely should have
died.
Especially for that core, for that core 4 bullshit. He definitely
should have died. Yeah. Like, I thought in the moment with the dinner scene, I thought it was cute. And I thought it worked in that moment. It would have been even better had one of them died. I definitely think I would have been fine with either one of the twins going. Mindy surviving, I was just like, there's no fucking way that she survived. She was stabbed only a couple of times, but pretty aggressively And I was like, oh wow, there's our Randy kill. Like we just, off the person who gives the rules in the second one, if you will. And then she shows up at the end, and I'm like, all right, whatever. At least, they killed Chad, and then Chad's alive, and I'm like, there's just no fucking way. And it didn't even hit me. It didn't even hit me until I got out of the movie, and I was sitting thinking about it, and I was thinking about all the good stuff, and then I was like, wait a minute, no one died in this movie. No one died.
Girlfriend
no one
kind of
important
did.
died at all. Yeah, but
I like the death and her face hitting the dumpster on the fall.
And
it kind of looked cool. That's all. Just that, and then the sound of it bouncing off, and then.
I think it's great, and that whole scene is phenomenal. That's probably it's probably got to be in, my top 5 favorite scenes in a Scream movie ever. That ladder sequence, I thought it was so well staged, so creative, suspenseful as fuck, and yeah, has a brutal ending. There's no way in hell though, the girl that has her arm slashed, I'm sorry, if I have my arm slashed and my significant other has been stabbed in the gut, there's no way I'm leaving them and crossing that ladder first. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. You really do have to put the person who's in the most jeopardy on that ladder first. So I thought that was a weird, I definitely thought that was a weird choice. And then you're just like, well, obviously the tension from that scene is cut because you know that the girlfriend is not going to make it. You just know she's not going to make it because she's the last man standing. Had you had Mindy be that last person in the room, then that adds another layer of tension, I think, because you go, are they going to make it? Are they going to kill her? Yeah, how did you guys feel about the idea of no main characters dying? Does it bother you as much as it bothers me, or are you guys kind of like, whatever, I like it? So.
If they would have offed the Michael Jackson the Gale Weathers character, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know
really?
why. I just
think it would have been good
there was
to
something about
Gale
it that
Weathers,
just came across creepy to me in this one.
I think it's her time to go anyway.
Yeah. I think we're a little... I'm not against plastic surgery at all, but once it gets to the point where it's really noticeable, I think maybe...
Yeah. I think she might have taken it a step too far.
I'm not trying to bash her at all, but it came across whoa, because I don't remember her looking it being that apparent in the last film. That's, I guess, my point.
I think in Scream 5, I think it was a little much. That being said, the pictures of her when she got her star on the Walk of Fame, she looked a lot better, I thought. So maybe she's toned it down. But that's I can't comment on anyone's appearance. I look like a homeless person half the time. So, and far be it from me to yuck anyone's yum. But in all seriousness, would you don't think that if they had killed Gale, it would have been all right, cool, we get it. It's overkill. We're killing off all these legacy characters. Because to me, I think it would have felt cheap had they killed her, because they killed Dewey in the last one, and I think there was a lot of pathos in that. I feel like
it was her turn.
We know
that's
you don't think that, I think I stand by 100% that Dewey absolutely needed to die in the last one. I think one of them needed to die, and I think it was most important that it was Dewey, because he plays this old man Dewey gunslinger sort of type of character in it that's lived his life, made his mistakes. He had some good, he had some bad, but goes out like a fucking champ. There's no way that they're ever going to kill Sidney, because that would just be, it would be the equivalent of killing Jamie Lee Curtis in the beginning of Halloween Resurrection. It's just, you don't fucking do that. I don't think Gail needed to die. I'm glad they didn't do it, because she's been through a lot of bullshit.
Woodsboro.
I don't think
she was a Woodsboro person. And because they're branching out and going to, like, the city, I'm thinking, like, exactly, like, leave her back with Woodsboro, and if we're moving on from that, let's move on from that.
Bring somebody new.
Right? And that's, again, why I go back to where I was, like, kind of like, I would have been okay with them getting rid of her. But on that same note, one thing that really, like, surprised me was that the main character, Sam, I didn't completely dislike her in this film, whereas in 5, I couldn't stand her. I don't know. She was just that character that I hated. I don't know why. There's something about the personality that came across that just I couldn't get with.
Because now she's got that big booty.
It has nothing to do with the J-Lo booty. But it was, I'm just saying, like, there was just something. Her character didn't irk me at all this time. She, like, flowed well. The bond between her and her sister made sense in this one. And it just, I felt like it went a lot. It was more believable.
I agree 100%. I didn't, like, hate her in the last movie, but I definitely wasn't feeling the vibe in that last movie. But in this one, I think she does a really good job. I believe her throughout the whole thing, her emotional journey. Definitely her and Tara, their relationship, I think, is one of the strongest parts of the film. And she really grew on me in this one. Like I said, I didn't hate her or anything in the last one, but I wasn't like Team Sam or anything like that in Scream 5.
I have a question.
But this one,
you.
She definitely won
your
me
favorite
over as well.
Kill in the whole movie?
Yes,
because I feel like they stepped it up from the last one for sure.
Well,
I mean, he's complaining about there not being enough gore, but I honestly felt like they stepped it up from some of the past ones.
So I think there's gore and I think there's savagery to the attacks. I'm gonna say attacks because I maintain that like nobody dies in this movie. If you count the killers, and there are 3 at the end, and there are 2 at the beginning, so that is 5 killers for this movie. If you do not count the killers being killed, what do we have? 2 deaths and 1 fake out death. That's Quinn, the daughter. Like, you have, and you have the doctor too. The doctor's pretty good kill. But you have Samara Weaving in the beginning. You have the girlfriend, I think her name's Annika, right? If I remember that right, with the ladder sequence. And you have the doctor who gets stabbed in the face.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's that's collateral damage. That's great. I think there's really good sequences in this movie. The grocery store sequence, the ladder sequence, the subway sequence. I think that's all really, really good. As far as kills go, probably the best one is probably the fall from the ladder, if we're not counting the killer's deaths, because it's certainly the most impactful. And yeah, watching that head hit on the ground, I mean, like, that got like an audible like groan from me, because I didn't enjoy, imagining myself in that scenario.
It was the
means.
bounce
What about you guys?
off
What
of
was
the
your
dumpster
favorite?
and then hitting the ground that like kind of like made me feel like, ugh, nice. But yeah, I really like the shotgun scene where he shoots him in the, like, even though it doesn't really show it, it kind of pulls away, like you see it, like it was just seeing Ghostface with a shotgun.
Was pretty gangster.
I thought that was cool. Like, I could have almost watched
a whole movie like
a lot more. Like, I wish it was not a convenience store. I wish it would have been a grocery store, and him just like almost going through there, taking people out. That could have been like insane, like a whole nother. It just felt like a different movie almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of the thing that I enjoy about this film specifically, is the change in setting. I mean, I know we don't like get any big landmarks with our characters there. That would have been really cool had they, I don't know, gotten the either the Jason Takes Manhattan Times Square sort of wraparound shot. That would have been really cool, or them with the Empire State Building in the background, something along those lines. We didn't get any of those kind of like landmark shots to really sell the fact that they're in New York. That being said, them not being in Woodsboro, like, thank fucking Jesus Christ, man. I am so fucking sick of Woodsboro. I don't even like hearing the name Woodsboro anymore. That was a big gripe with me with Scream 5, too. I was like, dude, get the fuck out of Woodsboro. Get the fuck out of Stu's house. Like, get the fuck out of there. So I think it lends itself to more imaginative set pieces in this film for sure. How did you guys feel about the killers and their motivations in this film? Because a lot of what I've heard and read from people is that is one of the weaker.
For me, that's where it was kind of lacking too at the end. It felt like,
what did you guys think about
a lot to throw at us all at the end, and it just felt like a
cheesy.
Yeah, it just felt like
a genuine.
Like now we're just trying too hard.
Yeah, they're trying to be convincing.
Yeah, see, I'm on one hand, I'm a really big fan of there finally being 3 killers. I thought they were going to do that in the last one. I was convinced. I was fucking convinced that at the end of Scream 5, it wasn't really Amber that had killed Dewey, but that fucking Stu Mocker was going to walk out of the fucking closet at some point. I was holding my breath waiting for it, and it never happened. And that might be part of why that movie was such a disappointment for me. I like there being 3 killers. I like the killers being a family. And I like them avenging Richie, even though it is kind of slightly, we've seen this before with Scream 2 and Billy's mom. The thing that I don't like is that it just their performances are so over the top at the end. They go from these somewhat normal people, and this happens in every Scream movie. It really does, but this time it felt so crazy over the top. Maybe it's because there were 3 of them all acting like fucking insane people, but the dad, Dermot Mulroney, like he's fucking wacko at the end, and it doesn't seem to fit the rest of the movie.
I'm trying to read about
that. What do you guys see? What are you guys pointing at? Oh, the stash is sexy.
No.
Sexy.
Thank you.
No, I agree with that as well. It did feel just like everybody, like the ending just kind of flipped on its head. But
I did like watching the dude get the knife thrown in his throat and like twist it around.
There was a lot of like
pretty satisfying
head stabs in this movie. I felt like for like the killers, and then that doctor through the window. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of good ones. That dude in the mouth at the end.
Yeah, that one was cool. I like that. Do you guys think it would have been better had they toned down the looniness? Had they, when it's revealed that they're the killers, that maybe they're not fucking insane, like comical caricatures, but they're legit just like heartbroken over the loss of their family member? Do you think that would have made the ending a little bit?
I don't know. Again, it just felt a little much for the cop and then the daughter and the son to all be in on this whole thing. Just felt so much. Like, I was okay with it because of the pace of the movie, and it felt like it was a good, fun movie. So with just holding on to it like that, like, it's fine. But if you're going into it, like, breaking it down like I started doing, and it sounds like you were doing too, like, yeah, that, like, it's bothersome because, you know, you want to believe it more. You want to get lost in it more. And
my thing is like the young guy that was one of the killers. Like when I was like oh he might be the killer. I was picturing it like totally different.
Yeah.
Not that I would really know, but yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
That's part of the fun of the movies.
Think he even
to be able to
really liked the
hypothesize
movie,
about
to be honest, though.
I did.
You did like it?
I wasn't a fan of the end.
What was it about the end that you didn't like?
Pretty much how it was kind of just like, okay, these are the killers, and then it was like the movie was.
It was just
and
over.
Like you guys mentioned, nobody really dies, so it just feels like they're trying to like suck out another movie from it to make another one.
So he's not looking forward to a part 7. Is what he's trying to say. I'm all in for a part 7.
I might be.
As long as they bring Stu back, because the way they had the question mark on his face when they showed like the wall with all the people.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very much a comment on the fan theories. That's kind of what I think that is. Even when like Kirby and Mindy are talking and they're asking, you know, they're talking about it and like it could be so and so, it could be so and so, it could be, or you know, Stu Mocker, if you believe he's dead. When they said that, I was like, all right, cool. Stu's not the killer. I'm gonna, you know, I knew them calling that out. These filmmakers essentially saying that was them being like, yeah, we know what you guys want, but that's not what this movie is. And I really wanted that going into this movie, but after I sat and thought about it, it would not have made sense for Stu to be the killer in any way, shape, or form with this storyline, this new cast. You know, the only person returning is Gale, and what the fuck would Stu have to do with Gale? Like it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm okay with it not being Stu. I don't know if there's a future for it being Stu, because the further we get away from the original film, the less sense it makes. It made sense for it to happen in Scream 5 because it almost has this build up to callbacks and references, and this is the last time we're gonna have, you know, Dewey, Gale, and Sydney all in one film, so that would have made sense. But from here moving forward, I can't make sense of these characters, especially you don't bring Gale or Sydney back, which I do not think they should do. I think they should leave those characters in peace. Yeah, I personally don't see it making sense to bring Stu back at all, because he was never the mastermind of anything anyways. So as much as I love Matthew Lillard, and as much fun as it would be to have that character come back, it
What
just
if he wants
doesn't
to
make
prove
any
that
sense
he's the
narratively.
OG
I
to
feel
all
like
these new, younger, up and coming killers? Because everybody's donning that Ghostface mask,
right
right?
there,
And he was the original one to put that shit on and start going at people. So now all these people that are copycat killers, he's got to be like, no, dude, this is how you actually fucking do it.
And you know what? That would be cool if, I don't know if Ghostface won, didn't die, or they tried something really new and inventive, which I thought they were going to do with this one in the beginning, where they revealed Ghostface Killer right out the gate. I was like, fuck yeah, we're going to know who Ghostface is throughout this movie, and that's going to add all different layers of tension. You get that scene in the beginning where he bumps into Tara on the street, and they're friends. They're talking. I'm like, oh my god, he's already in. He's already like a mole in this group of friends, and it's going to be so fun to watch this reverse of, oh, we know who Ghostface is, but our characters don't, and that's going to add these different levels of tension. I was actually kind of surprised.
But with that being said, I thought they were going to kill him off. Then we were going to find out there were other killers, and then I thought Stu was going to kill those people off and be the end reveal. To be honest, that's how I felt like it was going to progress. Obviously, it was wrong.
I think there was a moment where, in the very beginning of the film, when the killers get killed and there's a ghost face running around killing them, I was like, oh my god, is it Sam? Is Sam picking off these people that are trying to stalk her and her sister? That would be fucking dope, because she's got serial killer in her blood. And I thought that was going to be a fun turn, until about halfway through the movie, when you're just like, okay, yeah, there's no way that could possibly happen or make sense for the story that's playing out. I do have a question. Obviously, Neve Campbell was approached to appear in this film. They said they had to change the story a bit in order to deal with the fact that she was not coming back. How do you feel about the fact that Neve Campbell was not in this movie? Did you miss Sydney in this film, or did you feel like it made sense?
Was like, you guys need to pay me this much, and they probably didn't want to pay her that much. And really, I don't think the film really needed her at this point. If it would have been back in Woodsboro, I would have felt like you might have needed her in the film more, just because it's kind of like everybody, that's still alive back in the film, but I didn't need her. To be honest, these last two films are the only things that's kind of saved the franchise for me. I kind of started whatevering the Scream movies, Not really, and I to be honest, I don't even think I watched the whole entire thing through. So, yeah, so I'd really have to do a rewatch if you think.
Oh man, really? I love Scream 4. I put it above Scream 5 and Scream 3 for sure. It's got the twist at the end, I think is phenomenal. So it probably probably the best twist in the whole series. If not neck and neck with number one, but it's really good and it's really clever, I think. But with that in mind, what would you put as your ranking for
number one to me is always going to be the
How
best.
would you rank it?
I mean,
more or less,
even the courtyard scene where she's talking about how the movie's going to play out and who the killers could possibly be, that was taken from one. The scene where she tries to punch Gale Weathers in the face and then her friend does, or her sister does it, that was taken from the first one, right? And so there was just, I want to say the background music was the same as well, but I'm not 100%. There's some.
Well, they take obviously Red Right Hand from Nick Cave, and they did use, which was great. They did do a version of the Trouble in Woodsboro theme from Marco Beltrami that plays through all of the Scream movies except Scream 5. It didn't have it in Scream 5, but it showed up in this one, which I thought was pretty great. So there's obviously this franchise in particular is so meta and so self-referential because not only are there movies about the movie in the movie, there's always callbacks. There's all these references to characters being aware that they're in a movie in the making and stuff like that. So, and obviously the first one changed the game. When it came out, horror was not doing particularly well, and then when it was a hit, there was probably the better part of like 5 to 10 years of people trying to remake that formula. So yeah, the original Scream is pretty fucking untouchable. I agree 100%. I think a lot of times people will flip 1 and 2 as their favorites. I know a lot of people really, really enjoy 2. 2's my number 2. But what's the rest of your ranking look like? How do you place it?
I mean, we're so close together, and he got me in the theater earlier, and it smelled like Frosted Flakes. It was like soggy Frosted Flakes. Like it. So I can't really talk right now.
I was waiting for him to say
That's
something.
a beer burp. Okay, that's not my fault.
It's pretty nasty.
You knew it was coming. So again, basically because this movie, these last 2 kind of salvaged the franchise for me. And not being a humongous slasher film fan, like I'm more about the creature features, the vampires, werewolves, monsters, that type of thing. The slasher thing's kind of like a side. I love them, I enjoy them, but they're not like my thing. It's not my. Yeah. So I don't really remember them, and they're not as notable as some of these other films. So I would probably have to go with 1. Again, just based off of watching bits and pieces and not even feeling like I sat and watched through them all, it'd probably be pretty much in order, except for 3 is really unmemorable at all. 4 I don't remember, so it'd probably be 5 and 6 right after 2. And yeah, then I guess, unfortunately, and I don't even know have you seen any of the other ones?
I saw the original, and then I feel like I've seen the second one, and then like once they just kept coming out, that's usually when I stop watching movies. Just it seems like they just try to it's too much, and
you need to watch some of the Friday the 13th, and then you tell me when it's too many movies. What do I have now? What are they up to? They're at 12.
That's
How many Halloween
good point.
movies
There
are
a lot of Halloween movies too.
13 too. So
Jesus.
What's better, Albert,
or what?
Halloween Ends or
Scream 6.
Scream 6?
Scream 6, I feel like I could watch again.
Scream 6.
Multiple
Scream 6
times.
or Halloween Ends?
And Halloween, I feel like you can watch it once and just kind of... Like, that's more of a background flick. Not even that. It's not even a background flick to me. I don't even know if I would probably watch it again unless I'm like... There's a reason for it, you know?
Like making me watch it.
Like making him watch it.
All right, what's the most rewatched horror film? What do you rewatch probably more than the other?
The Lost Boys, The Howling, American Werewolf, Lord of the Flies is even fucking horrible. What the fuck?
What was that Fly movie?
Are you just throwing shit? The Fly?
The Fly.
With Jeff Goldblum? I mean, I've seen that a good time, but... Like, wait a second.
What was that Fly movie? You know, the one with the fly?
I would fuck that.
But yeah, no, those are probably my top like 3 or 4.
So, like your favorite movies,
yes.
you probably rewatch them
Interview with the Vampire
more often than
that one to me was just like
right?
The atmosphere, the everything. It felt like
yeah, that's my wife's favorite movie. His Interview with a Vampire. No, I mean
I should watch that movie.
It's a really good fucking movie, and it's you should make him watch that movie. It's a horror movie, but it's also not. It's like a period piece drama most of the time, in the best ways, I would say. And the acting is so good. I mean, you have fucking Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt,
when
Antonio
Brad Pitt's
Banderas,
getting
like
interviewed in the beginning,
stellar cast,
and he goes to flip the light on. Oh, just like in that the guy interviewing him, just sitting there like,
oh yeah,
tripping. Yes, I mean that's just I don't know, unbeatable.
Yeah, later, yeah. That's a great bit. I love the bit at the end where he, is Christian Slater's like asking Brad Pitt to turn him into a vampire, and then he moves again really fast and like grabs him by the throat and has him up against the wall, and he's like, "Do you like this? Do you like dying?" It's just a fucking good line. All right. Well, we'll wrap this up here in just a minute. Okay, so
yep.
Favorite type of movie is creature features, monster movies, right? So if it's not vampires and werewolves,
is it really worth anybody's time?
I mean, I'm asking as a fan of what is arguably the best creature feature. What's like if it's not vampires and werewolves, if it's just like a straight monster movie, what's your go-to? What do you think's the best?
Is that yours? Isn't it black and white?
Have you seen the original Godzilla? Have you seen what is it? Yeah, the black and white, and it's in Japanese.
I've seen clips of it. I don't think I've watched the whole film, but again, that's one it's been forever. I mean, for me, if we're talking just an all-out bloody, like how it should be done type of movie, 30 Days of Night, it fucking blows my mind because nobody talks about it, but I feel like that's how vampires should be done. There's some sappy love scene bullshit in the movie, but overall...
That was not one we watched with...
It's in the snow, they fucking shut down the town. Yeah.
It is a really underrated horror movie. I'm not really really sure why. It's been a while since I've revisited that one myself.
It's based off that comic book with the same name.
What was it? Oh, the comic. Yeah. I do remember that being like one of the big things that when it came out that they were pushing that. That was one that I saw in theaters actually. That was before I was even like a horror movie fan.
It was just so creepy and just dingy and just like even the guy that wasn't a vampire that they kept locked up in the cell that was just like the vampire's helper guy. Oh, dude. Yes. Such a good actor.
Ben Foster. He does such a good job. Yeah, that was great. It does. I feel like it does kind of get forgotten about. It came out during this weird time too, when like not a lot of movies like that were getting made, because during that specific time, it was like all the horror movies were being remade. It was all like remakes and stuff like that. Vampires from Day Shift are pretty fucking cool. That's the Jamie Foxx one, right, Jasmine? I watched a little bit of that.
It was
watching that the other night.
It was pretty over the top.
It looked like a funny, goofy movie. Not that goofy, but yeah, that sort of movie always kind of like when it's. Man, I'm super wary of Netflix movies now. I'm just like everything that comes out on Netflix.
They're good at putting out rom-coms.
How good can it be?
I don't know about horror so much.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're borderline like the Hallmark Channel now. Everything's just so bland across the board. That being said, every once in a while they do put out something pretty good. Actually, Jasmine, my friend who just commented about Day Shift, she mentioned something about a found footage horror movie recently that she said it was really good, and I've heard it mentioned a couple of times now. I can't remember what it's called, but I
oh no, you're talking Netflix. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she said it was like found footage foreign film. So Jasmine, you can chime in here anytime in the comments. It's like Incarnate or something like that. Incantation.
I think I've heard of it.
There we go.
But yeah, I definitely need to catch up on some films that I have like the screenshots of the cover art in my phone in the photos of ones I need to catch up on.
Before I let you go, what? Obviously, we all have a list. We all have like, all right, this is people like, oh, you need to watch this movie, and you're like, all right, cool, I'll add it to the fucking list. Two questions, really. How often do you watch movies? Like legit, sit down and watch a movie.
For me,
and
whenever I can have a night where I can basically either get a friend or my woman to sit down for that amount of time, I'm always down to watch a movie. That's the thing. It's like I can sit and just, as long as there's the right atmosphere.
And he loves to find great movies that like just makes it feel like it wasted so much of your time.
This is one of the guys that like.
He's like, I got the greatest movie, and you have to watch this one. Like he hypes it up so much, and then
it was Dog Soldiers. This is the guy I was talking about. This is the guy who fucking shit on Dog Soldiers. This motherfucker. I'm getting getting him for everyone. Anyways, exactly.
Dog Soldiers is great. We've actually been meaning to rewatch that.
So the next one that I'm probably going to make this guy watch is Serbian film. No, I honestly, right now I'm just kind of, the one that we had set up to do a review on tonight was Mandy, which I've seen, but he hasn't seen. And I just loved...
Smoke some pot first.
Oh god.
But
it'll be more fun.
but yeah, there's something about Nicolas Cage when he fucking gets into that zone, just like Willy's Wonderland, where it was just like, holy shit. Yeah. I couldn't get enough of it though. It like had me dying. Willy's Wonderland. Yeah. So that will probably be the next one. He's actually moving into Chicago, Indiana, Chicago. So this is probably it for us. I know. Tear.
Oh God damn. Well, I got my favorite podcast guys. They're called the Halloweenies, and they're based out of Chicago. Legit, probably the best horror podcast I've ever listened to. And if you guys don't listen to them, you should go listen to them. But yeah, Chicago, I've never been, but
you look good,
I
kicking the pants. That's for sure.
So, live it up, buddy. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, this has bin a lot of fun. Thank you for rushing over from the movie theater to have a sit down with me. I really enjoyed this. Thank you for just talking horror movies with me. It's probably one of my favorite things to fucking do, and it's great to have people who are educated and maybe not so, because dude, I have my horror people on Instagram, but with the exception of my wife, none of my friends or family like horror movies. None of the people I work with really like horror movies, so don't have anyone to talk to about it most of the time. So it's really fun, and I mean I get it. Like most of my friends, they don't give a shit one way or another. So but it's cool. It's fucking cool that you sit down with this motherfucker, and that's a good friendship right there.
Thank you.
Fucking love it.
Go.
All right, boys. Well, thank you so much for having us. You guys have a great night, and
have a good night.
I appreciate you. All right.
That was fun.
Adios, gentlemen.